So tell me, are you watching this at 3 o'clock in the morning right now? You're lying in bed, you're looking at YouTube videos on how to, maybe some hacks on how to feel awake and motivated for when you need to wake up in a couple of hours. Well, I'm going to give you 2 hacks here right off the bat. I want you to go down to Rite Aid. I want you to grab yourself a bottle of either melatonin or a bottle of the amino acid glycine, okay? That's gonna help you feel tired enough to get like some efficient sleep if this is a one-off thing, okay? So there you go, you're welcome. But in case you're wondering, my top 3 recommendations on how to generally become more of a morning person, you've come to the right video. Now, in this video, I'm not going to focus so much on the benefits of waking up early because you're probably already familiar with them. And in my opinion, there's a lot of successful and productive people who consider themselves night owls who do better at night, okay? So what I am going to do in this video is I'm going to start off with some common reasons why people have struggles waking up early, okay? Some common reasons. And then we're going to go into my top 3 recommendations on how to become a morning person. So if you're ready, let's cue that intro. I want to start off by telling you to not be discouraged if you're not exactly a morning person right now. Now, there's several reasons why you might not be exactly thrilled when the sun comes over the horizon in the morning, okay? You may prefer staying awake at night because that's when your friends are awake. You may prefer staying awake at night because that's when you feel most productive. That's when you get the most amount of things done. You may prefer staying awake at night because of your age. Studies have shown that mammals during puberty have a biological preference to wake up later than children or adults. And this is because of 2 primary reasons. Number 1, adolescents produce melatonin, which is the hormone responsible for making you feel sleepy, later during the day than children and adults. And number 2, it's been shown in studies that sex hormones like testosterone, which is obviously pretty high during puberty, produce changes in the size and structure of the suprachiasmatic nucleus, which is the region of the brain responsible for determining when you want to wake up and when you want to go to bed. You may prefer staying up awake at night because of biological reasons. So in addition to your age, scientists have identified a gene known as the PER gene, which has early and late variations, okay? And if you're homozygous, meaning you have 2 copies of either the early or the late variation, then your waking preference is going to be shifted earlier or later, respectively, okay? And then, of course, finally, we have conditions like fibromyalgia or depression, which makes waking up just absolutely horrible. And you have like no energy to wake up at all, let alone do something constructive such as reading or exercising, okay? So I guess what my point is there are valid and invalid reasons for why you may prefer staying awake at night. And here's the thing, if your reasons are valid and you're cranking out a lot of work at night and you're spending time investing in yourself, as in exercising or reading constructive material, and you're getting sufficient sleep, then you shouldn't be watching this video, and you have my blessing to click on one of the suggested videos to the right. But in case you're still interested in becoming that morning person and getting a head start on the other people and life in general, then let's get right into my top 3 recommendations on how to become a morning person. Okay, my tip number 1 for how to become a morning person is go to bed early. Captain Obvious once said, "He who doth not go to bed early doth indeed have troubles with waking upon the morn." And I certainly have found that to be the case in my own personal experience. So here's the thing, guys. If you don't go to bed early, you shouldn't expect to be able to wake up early either, okay? But that's the trick, isn't it? What if you have a test that you have to study for the next day or project that has to be done? My advice for that would be, if it's kind of a one-off thing and every now and then you have this need to stay up late at night, then I wouldn't worry about it. Maybe just drink some coffee or get some of that glycine or that melatonin going on, and you'll be good to go. If you find that you have to consistently stay up late at night and wake up early, essentially burning the candle at both ends, then it's time that you sit down and come up with an alternate long-term strategy, okay? Because if you're burning the candle at both ends, your health is being impacted, whether or not you have any symptoms or not, or you can sense it or not, okay? So let's say that you're in school, right? And you have to study during the day and you have to work at night. Maybe a different long-term strategy could be you work with your advisor to schedule all of your classes on certain days of the week. You just knock out all your classes all day, and that's all that you do. And then on the other days of the week, you can study and use those days for work, okay? Maybe it's a matter of just taking online classes. Maybe that can save you some time. Maybe it's a matter of just getting your to-do list and your schedule on point, okay? If you're working, let's say you're in the workforce and you're working during the day and you have to take work home with you at night, maybe it's time you negotiate with your boss and learn how to delegate some of your tasks to your coworkers. Maybe it's a matter of just learning how to say no to your boss. That's a huge one. But whatever it is, coming up with a long-term strategy, an alternate long-term strategy to avoid burning the candle at both ends is super important. So the best way to go about making a habit of going to bed earlier is to set a bedtime and a waking time 7 to 9 hours apart from each other, and then incrementally reducing both of those times by 15 minutes each day until you get to your goal wake-up time, whatever that may be. Okay, my second tip for how to wake up early is to make your alarm clock obnoxious and interactive. Okay, so the obvious choice would be to turn your volume all the way up on your alarm clock and set it across the room so that you physically have to get up and go turn off the alarm and walk. Now, there are some people for whom this would work well. There are some people who would go turn it off and then go right back to bed, such as was the case with myself. So enter Alarmy, which is one of my favorite apps of all time. Essentially what it does is it gives you a challenge, such as solving a math equation or taking a picture of something across your house, and it won't disable the alarm until you complete that challenge. So it's really quite obnoxious and it works fantastic. Another good alarm clock app that I've used with good success is the Sleep Cycle, which basically keeps track of your sleep stages during the night and will only wake you during a light sleep stage around the time when you want to wake up. Okay, so that's another good option. And then of course there are light alarm clocks, such as the wake up light from L-Bell or the sunrise alarm clock from Instaco. And basically what these alarm clocks do is they simulate the sunrise, so they wake you up with the light, so they're really cool. If you guys are interested in those products, I'm going to put some links in the description below so you can check those out. Okay, my third tip for becoming a morning person is to avoid blue light and food after sunset. Okay, now this one might not be super obvious, but until the past 140 years, humans had no reliable way of staying awake late into the night. The only way we could do it was through using lanterns, like oil lanterns, which were costly and which still produced wavelengths in the red and orange spectrum. So humans have special cells in the back of our eyes called melanopsin cells, and when these cells detect blue light, they inhibit the production of melatonin, which again is the hormone that makes you sleepy. Now, humans are designed this way so that when the eye detects blue light, blue wavelengths of light, such as is characteristic of the sky during the day and sunlight, this inhibition of melatonin makes us feel awake. And conversely, when it's nighttime, there's a lack of blue light and we feel sleepy and tired, okay? But the issue is, these days, computer screens and television screens, even fluorescent lights, all produce primarily blue wavelengths of light, okay? So what does this mean? This means that every time we look at a computer screen or a fluorescent light at night or a television screen, something like that, our body's production of melatonin is being inhibited. What's even worse is that studies have now shown that adolescents are more sensitive to this dampening effect of blue wavelengths of light at night. Okay, so if you're an adolescent, like a teenager or a young adult, you're taking an additional hit on your melatonin every time you look at a computer screen at night or a television screen, or even fluorescent lights. So is all hope lost then for us who look at computer screens and television screens at nighttime? Well, not necessarily, because I myself wear these bad boys. Now, these are what you call blue blocking glasses, okay? So I put these on at sunset, and basically what they do is they protect me from having suppressed melatonin, okay? I'm gonna demonstrate how they work on this Rubik's Cube right here. Okay, so if you take a look at this Rubik's Cube, right, you've got the blue in the center, and then you have the yellow on the top, and then the white. Okay, so watch what happens when I put the lens in front of the camera. Okay, so you're gonna see, okay, so the blue square in the center is going to become black because it's going to block blue wavelengths of light, okay? And you'll notice how the white blocks on the two sides become yellow because white contains blue wavelengths as well. So you can see the difference between them. So when you wear these, you are completely blocking yourself from the blue wavelengths of light. The highest wavelength frequency you can see is green. Okay, so if you guys are interested, I'm gonna put a link down in the description below so you can check these out. Do you look like Bono? Yes. Are you wearing your sunglasses at night? Yes, you are. But when you get a good night's sleep, you're the one gonna be laughing all the way to Inception Dream Level 5. All right, now I also have to mention late night snacks. Now your body determines what time of day it is based on light, but it also determines what time of day it is based on when you eat, okay? So you can be wearing blue blocking glasses all night, but if you're popping Pop-Tarts or Nintendo shaped gummy bears at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, it won't matter because basically you're telling your body that it's still daytime and your melatonin is gonna take a hit. So the best strategy is to develop something called an eating window of 8 to 12 hours. And essentially all an eating window is it's a time during the day during which you're allowed to eat, okay? And outside of your eating window, you can have certain beverages that have no calories, like black coffee or tea or something like that. So this sounds really hard. Why would you ever do this? Well, you would do this for 2 reasons, okay? The first reason is that when you develop an eating window during the day, your body isn't confused as to whether it's day or night, okay? So your melatonin isn't gonna be suppressed. And number 2, the number 2 reason you would do this is because developing an eating window and fasting in general is profoundly healthy, okay? So for all the people out there who are struggling with depression or chronic fatigue syndrome or fibromyalgia or something like that, and you just don't have enough energy during the morning to wake up, all of a sudden, once you develop a habit of keeping an eating window, you're gonna find that you have just a little bit more energy when you wake up in the morning. Or if you're not very tired when you go to bed, you're gonna find that all of a sudden you are tired when you go to bed, and you're gonna have the ability just to kind of go to bed when you want to. So for those reasons, I highly recommend developing an eating window. Even if it doesn't completely resolve the condition that you're struggling with, it will do something and it will move you closer to your goals. So I highly recommend it. What I personally do right now is I'll wake up 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, something like that is pretty typical for me, and I'll basically just drink black coffee until lunchtime. And that's when my eating window starts, and then I have an eating window of 8 to 10 hours-ish. So I'm basically skipping breakfast, eating lunch and dinner, and I'm good to go. Yep. So if you guys are interested in that, I'm gonna put some resources in the description below so you can check it out. All right, there you guys go. My top 3 recommendations on how to conquer the morning and be a morning person. Number 1, go to bed early. Number 2, make your alarm clock interactive and obnoxious. Number 3, avoid blue light and food after sunset. If you guys follow those recommendations, you're gonna be well on your way to hugging the sun as it comes up in the morning. Don't forget to check out those links below and subscribe for more ridiculously awesome content, and good night.